Hey everyone, it's Andy here from savingtoinvest.com. Today I'm just going to talk about your online IRS account and how it can be a really valuable source of information to get updates on what's happening with your refund, IRS notices that have been sent to you, and just to get general information during the tax year about what the IRS has on you in their systems. This can be really important, especially if your refund has been delayed or you need your tax information for some verification process. If you like what I've got here, please hit the like button and subscribe to keep getting more videos like this. So the IRS online account is available from the irs.gov/account site. You can actually go and create this account or log into this account anytime you want. It's normally updated once a day like most IRS systems, but the important thing is to note that you don't have to pay anything for it, and it's free and it contains the latest information the IRS systems have on you. And I'm pretty surprised that only about half the folks who actually file a return access their online account or even know about accessing it. But it's important that, as we move to a more online and connected world, that you do set up an online account. Again, it's free, it's pretty quick, and it does have all the latest information that you need for filing your tax return. And just to show you what it has, and you can go to the irs.gov/account site to see more on this. It contains a lot of valuable information, especially when people are looking for what information they need for their tax return, what information is needed to figure out the status of their refund, what communications they have with the IRS, etc. And especially when you talk about the section I've highlighted here, you can actually see that not only does it contain most recently filed returns, it actually includes any adjustments you've made. It allows you to access your transcripts, and I've got a whole video on what you can see from your transcript when it comes to your tax file processing. It also contains the latest information about economic impact payments, aka stimulus checks and recovery rebate credits, and also the latest information about your advanced child tax credit payments. These have caused a lot of issues in the current tax season, just because the amounts that were sent in letters were not always what the IRS had online because of some delays in payments. So having the access to your online account can really help you see what tax credits have been paid to you, so that when you file your return, you put that in to be able to get the remaining payments. In fact, that's probably the number one reason this year why refund payments have been delayed, because the IRS has to go and review what folks have submitted and make adjustments to their refund on the child tax credit overpayments. And I think this last point here as well, you can go online and see certain notices. Now, IRS has hundreds of notices, so not everything will be available online. But while every notice is mailed, I think the important ones, especially ones that potentially affect your tax refund or tax processing, will be available online. So that alone is just another good reason to get an online account. And the other thing I also like here is you can also see if you have any pending or scheduled payments. Again, this includes refund payments, obviously estimated tax payments and other things as well, but it allows you to see what is being paid or what's pending. So this is good if you're waiting to know what's happening with your refund. And finally, I'll definitely say, I wouldn't maybe recommend going paperless, because it's always good to still get things in the mail, especially if you have complicated tax situations. But if you're moving houses or your address will change, you definitely get the paperless option. And I definitely recommend getting email notifications for new notices, because this allows you to see when something is sent, and it's probably posted here before it gets into your mailbox. So it's always good. And at the end, you can also see your balance and what you owe by tax year, which is really information. And I'll talk a little bit about that shortly as well. So from the irs.gov site, when you go in to create your account, you'll be taken to this screen. Some people may have read about the new ID.me process. There was even talk about IRS doing face scans, but generally speaking, they now have sort of two options for creating a new account. And again, this should all be done through the irs.gov/account site. And you saw it in the previous screen where it says open an online account or sign in. So generally now the recommended approach is to use ID.me. This was used extensively for the enhanced unemployment programs last year. So it's actually pretty well established. It's probably now sort of the standard ID verification process that government agencies use. So just click onto that. It'll walk you through a process. You'll have to provide your license and other identifying information, potentially last year's tax returns in some cases. But this is an important process to get it created to verify the actual taxpayer, because obviously this is a very sensitive information, so fraud's a big concern. Um, on the website, and I'll put links to all these pages as well in the description. It'll tell you what to do. It'll walk you through step by step. It's pretty straightforward. And for those who already have an existing account, you can use your ID.me account, or you can actually sign in with an existing IRS username. I suspect that over time they'll probably move everyone to ID.me because of the extra security that happens. If you like me though, if you have an existing IRS username, it does have multi-factor authentication, which means you need to submit it and then also get a code on your mobile phone. So once you do that, your account is created, and then you can go to the next steps, and I'll show you what a transcript looks like. So when you log in to the IRS account homepage, you'll be presented with this screen. I've hidden some of this information. It is actually my IRS account, but I've hidden some of it. But you'll generally see all this information here. And just, as I discussed in the earlier slides, there's a wealth of information. You generally can see, all these tabs, that home, account balances, payment options, and there's separate videos I've covered on this. You can see all your balance details. You can make a payment for future estimated taxes. I talked about the notifications that's here, and this is where you can also select to go paperless. And then I think this is the important part for folks that are trying to find out what's happening with their tax return or refund payments and all the notices. And you can even authorize requests for tax professionals. And in fact, those who use a tax preparer can authorize their tax preparer to get the information from here, so they have the latest IRS information as well. Specifically in this video, I do want to focus on sort of two sections, which is your tax records and your notices and letters. And you can definitely explore some of the other options, but I just want to focus on these two for this video. So firstly, for notices and letters, when you click on the tab for notices and letters, you'll be taken to this page. And I unfortunately don't have any notices here, but you'll generally see if you got earlier notices, whether it's related to child tax credit, economic impact payments. If you have, tax code 971 on your transcript, that'll also relate to a notice. And if it's one that is digital, you'll actually see it here. I had no notices this year. My tax went through okay, but you'll generally see this over here, and you can always go in and you can click on it and you can PDF and see your thing over here. The other page, which is more useful, I think, for this situation, especially when you're trying to figure out what's happening, for example, with your refund or your data from a previous tax year, is actually the tax record tab. And you can see here, you navigate it through it here, and then you'll generally see, your last return summary. So you'll see which is form, which is normally the 1040, which is a standard tax form. Your filing status, what your adjusted gross income that was reported to the IRS and accepted by them. And then you'll also see information here about, for 2021, it was the advanced child tax credit payments. You'll sort of see, especially if it's a joint return, you should see both amounts. And again, make sure you report both amounts in your tax return if filing jointly, because if you don't, or you've separated it, it causes issues and the IRS will review it. So this is really information useful. Same with the economic impact payments. Again, all that information is here. And this is why this page is really brilliant. A lot of issues with refund delays are happening because people are not providing the correct information into their 1040 form, which is the ACTC and the economic impact payment. And by seeing what's on here, you'll ensure that you have the most up-to-date information provided in your tax form, which means the least chance of it getting adjusted or delayed by the IRS. And then, as I've covered in other videos, you can now request transcripts through here as well. So they used to be a different process to request transcripts. You can still even call in or mail in for one, but now you can actually just go through this tab, hit the get transcript, and it'll take you to a place where it'll ask you for why you're requesting a transcript, and be able to download several years worth of transcripts. And especially for the current year, it's really useful because you can see a lot of information about your refund status on your transcript. And I've covered that in many other videos, which I'll link to over here. But it's really this tax records page, especially during tax season, is really helpful to find out what to submit to the IRS, what information they have, and then what's happening with their processing of your return. So finally, I want to touch on one last section, and this is, once you've clicked the transcript and you've downloaded it, and I'm just showing an example here of a typical transcript. And you can see here, generally transcripts are full of what they call transcript tax codes or transaction codes, and these are marked here. You can see it in terms of, you can see it 806, 766, 768, 570846. These tend to be pretty common codes in most tax seasons, and it's no different in the current tax season. So once you've downloaded your current year transcript, make sure it has the current year there as well, because you'll see several years potentially in your transcript. 150 means that the IRS has been filed, it's been accepted by the IRS. So that's the status in WMI, return accepted. And then you'll sort of start seeing the IRS processing cycles here. They'll have 806, which is deducting your withholding, and there'll be amounts for each of these things, which I've hidden here for now, but you'll see amounts as well. 766 and 768 are your refundable credits. So like your stimulus checks or even your advanced child tax credits would be 766, and then 768 is referred to your earned income credit. The two codes that will probably delay your refund are 570, and you'll also see a 970, which is for notice issued. But these generally mean that the IRS has found some discrepancies with your return. Most times it's because a credit that you submitted doesn't match with the records the IRS has, so they have to do an automatic adjustment. Basically will mean your return is probably delayed by a few days or a couple of weeks, depending on how severe the issue is. They'll resolve it and they'll send you a notice. Again, you can find your notice on your IRS account, or it'll be mailed to you. And then essentially 846 means your refund has been issued, which will give you a date for when the refund is sent. So these are sort of the common codes. And just for looking at the transcript, you can see this because sometimes WMR or IRS.gov don't always have this information easily available. But just again, all this is through your IRS online account portal. And I definitely recommend that if you can get access to it, do it as soon as you do. And then you can get a lot of this information that'll help you figure out what's happening with your refund. As always, if you like this information, please hit the subscribe button and like this video as well. Thanks, and bye-bye.